Hello everyone, hope you all are doing good. This is Gautam from Shailaja as it's another Mains in Minutes video based on your recent current affairs. This video we are going to discuss about women in judiciary. The context is simple. Your justice, there were two vacant positions in your Supreme Court at the first week of your August, and by August 29th it was filled by two male judges. So in that context, they're trying to analyze the representation of women in your higher judiciary. We'll try and see what is the current status, and we'll try and understand why it is important to have women in higher judiciary, or what are the challenges that women face in order to reach, I can say, higher judiciary. Right? So let's start with the current status. We have only one woman sitting judge out of the total strength of 34 judges in your Supreme Court, and her name is Justice B.V. Nagaratna. Right? Historically, if you look into it, from 1950 appointment of Supreme Court judges till now, cumulatively there were 287 judges who were appointed to Supreme Court, and out of that merely 3.8%, that is only 11 judges were women who were appointed by the government of the day, right? So only 3.8% of the 287 judges have been appointed since its inception in 1950. That is one important data which you can please add it to your notes. It will become important either to start your answer, or you can use it in your essays as well, right? Last appointment of a woman judge was done in 2021, with 3 women judges were directly appointed. And in 2022, 2023, 2024, and until now, mid-2025, there has not been even a single woman judge who has been appointed to the Supreme Court. Now, this discussion on the statistics is about the Supreme Court, right? Second, there is also low diversity among the women judges who have been appointed. Only 11 judges have been appointed, and in that there has not been a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe woman. And also there has been only one woman judge from your minority faith. Okay, that is your Justice Fatima Bibi remains the sole woman judge in the court from your minority faith. Continuing, we'll see from 1950 onwards, 9 male judges have been elevated to the court directly from your bar association. In the sense, bar is nothing but your association, a group of you can say practicing lawyers who have been legally certified to practice law. Okay, so they have got that license to practice law, and that organization, it is generally seen that as your career progresses, you are going to be elevated as a judge. And from 1950, 9 male judges have been elevated from the bar to the High Court, you can say to the Supreme Court. However, there has been only one woman till date who has been elevated from bar to the Supreme Court, that is your Justice Indu Malhotra in 2021, right? So these are some of the current status with regard to women in higher judiciary, or women in Supreme Court in particular. Now, why women are unable to reach such higher echelons of Indian judiciary? Multiple reasons. First and primary reason is your patriarchy that is being present in the society itself. That applies even to your legal profession. General perception that is there is women are not, or less capable of handling complex constitutional cases or criminal cases. As a result, women are not encouraged to take up legal profession. However, it has been changing in the last 2 or 3 decades. But if you look historically, this patriarchal outlook impacted your women even in your legal profession. Like what we see, patriarchy impacting other sectors also, be it in your science and technology sector, be it in your engineering sector, be it in medicine sector. They were always viewed as less capable of meeting the rigors of a professional field, and they were viewed as primarily belonging to the 4 walls of a home. So in that, that is one of the, you can say, primary reasons which has restricted women to reach more and more numbers to the Supreme Court or in higher judiciary. That includes your High Court as well, right? Second important thing is your work-life balance and your career breaks. Because of your pregnancy or because of your child rearing activities, women tend to take longer breaks because of biological and you can say social needs also. So as a result, there'll be a pause in the career progression, and that leads to delayed appointments to senior positions, which in turn has an impact on elevation to a Supreme Court judge or a High Court judge. So in the profession itself, when your progression is not smooth or progression is not quick as compared to your male counterparts, why? Because of your because of your home-related activities, because of your child-rearing activities. That in turn is going to be one of the reasons why we see less women in your senior judicial positions. Third, obviously the collegium system, it is said that they operate in an opaque manner, there hasn't been a clear-cut outline of what are the parameters that are used to recommend a judge for your higher judiciary. So, and it's often said that it's difficult to break into old boys club. So there have been allegations with regard to nepotism, favoritism, and you can say some sort of corruption that is happening. But all these are allegations, or in general words, if you want to write it in answer, don't use this crude format. You can always mention opaque collegium system with regard to the parameters on which a judge is recommended. Okay, so that is a more better way of putting it, your point. And pipeline problem in higher judiciary. The moment you have fewer women entering at the, the law degree itself, because of long career, because of career breaks and other reasons, in the pipeline itself there will be very few women. So if you want to address this situation, you have to address this pipeline shortage itself. There needs to be more women at your entry level and your mid level and even at the senior level. So if you are able to build that pipeline, and if you're able to address the root cause by increasing the women participation at the entry level itself, then we tend to see more and more women taking up, senior positions in your bar associations, or eventually elevated to your higher judiciary, Supreme Court or High Court judges. Okay. And one other important reason why we see not many women participating in higher judiciary is the absence of any deliberate policies like gender quotas. Unlike what you have in Gram Panchayats, where there is minimum of 33% reservation for women in your Gram Panchayats, or in your urban local bodies, or in your Panchayat Raj institutions, which was mandated by your 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. And recently also, Nari Shakti Act, we see that 1/3 of seats will be reserved for women post 2026, census. And in the coming years, we'll tend to see that at least there's going to be increased participation of women even in parliament. Such kind of quotas are absent with regard to your judiciary. So that is also one of the reasons we see that not many women in your higher judicial system. Right? So these are some of the challenges, but we'll understand why is it necessary. Why do we need more women in higher judicial system? First and foremost is that they bring in diverse perspectives. Whenever there is diverse perspectives from different sections of society, the quality of a judgment is always going to be enhanced. Okay, and it is going to be more receptive. Whatever is the judgment, since it is coming from multiple stakeholders, it is going to be more receptive and it is going to be more sustainable. Right? Second important criteria, or second important reason why we need more women in judiciary, is to enhance the democratic credibility of our country itself. We have half of the population who are women. And if you see less than 1%, less than 4% of women judges. Right now we are having only one woman judge out of 34 sitting Supreme Court judges. So that reflects very poorly on the democratic credentials of our country itself. So at least to make the judiciary more inclusive, to enhance the democratic credibility of the nation at an international level, we need to have more women in senior judicial positions. Third thing is that whenever there is a diverse, judicial bench delivering verdict, the public legitimacy or the public acceptance or the confidence with regard to the judicial system is going to be enhanced. Right? So public confidence and legitimacy in judicial institutions as well as the decisions is going to be enhanced when there are diversity in the judicial benches itself. Okay? Another reason why we need more women is your gender-sensitive justice, because women will be in a better position to understand the gender-based violence or family issues or gender-based rights, and they will be in a better position to articulate their views and give a more better judgments. So in order to make the justice gender-sensitive, it is necessary to have, women in your judicial positions. Also, if you have women who are driven to bring in, systematic changes so as to correct historical discriminations, it is better that women be in those leadership positions or in a positions to bring about changes. Okay, so more women will help to take proactive measures so as to correct systemic discrimination that is present in the society and in the institutions itself. Also, more women in Supreme Court or in your higher courts is going to have a role model effect. So it will in turn going to inspire more and more young girl child to take up legal profession, so that when she sees that, okay, she can reach the pinnacle of your judicial profession, there will be more and more girl children taking up this legal profession, right? And also, your United Nations and international best practices suggest that there needs to be at least 30% of the you can say bench strength needs to be composed of women, right? So these are all, you can say, some of the reasons that we say that we need more and more women in your Supreme Court or in your higher courts. Now, what is the way forward? You try to come up with a diversity framework whereby the Supreme Court itself can take a lead initiative and say that, okay, the next 5 years or 10 years, the judicial appointment process is going to be such that more women are going to enter into that Supreme Court institution, right? So if there's a diversity framework, it will be better. Not just women, but women from different backgrounds, different caste or different regions or different religions, right? There needs to be mentorship ecosystem and early appointment itself, so that the pipeline problem that we are facing, whereby there is low women at the entry stage itself, that is going to be addressed. Okay, there has to be a clear integration of your bar association in your judiciary, whereby more and more number of women who are performing well as a practicing lawyers are elevated to the judges. As we already saw, only one woman judge has been elevated from your bar to a Supreme Court judge, that is your Indu Malhotra in 2021. So there has to be a greater integration. More number of women needs to be elevated from your bar association to your Supreme Court. Public accountability. If there is greater awareness, if there is greater campaigns, obviously, no matter how high the institution is, how powerful the institution is, they are going to bring in certain changes. The very recent example is your Supreme Court verdict on your street dogs. They passed a verdict which said that we need to capture all the street dogs in Union Territory of Delhi and place it under, you can say, regulated shelter homes. That created a huge outcry among the public. Large number of petitions were filed, there were greater discussions on social media and electronic media, and eventually the Supreme Court had to reverse its stance, right? And or may have to clarify its stance. So if public is aware and if public is holding the institution accountable, they are in a position to bring in systematic changes, right? For example, Supreme Court has directed your bar associations, that is your lawyer associations, to mandate 30% of elected seats for women. But why is it not implementing the same when it comes to its own, you can say, institutions? If we ask such kind of tough questions, that does not, you can say, fall into the domain of content of court. Okay, then we can expect to see some systematic changes and greater representation of women in your higher judiciary. Correct? I think in 2021 there was a question asked based on your women representation in your judiciary. The question is, discuss the desirability of greater representation of women in higher judiciary to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. So what are all the reasons that we discussed of why we need more women in judiciary? Same points, you have to just write it. Introduction can be your one of the data points. Only 4% appointed from 1950 till date, right? So, and conclusion can be your way forward or whatever suggestions we have given. Right? So another question, you can attempt it. Supreme Court's elaboration of gender equality would hold meaning only with enough women judges. That's a statement. So in this context, analyze the impact of gender imbalance in India's higher judiciary. So what is going to be the consequences if there is gender imbalance in your higher judiciary? And you have to suggest measures to rectify this imbalance. Okay. So I think whatever points we have discussed, you can make use of it and structure it into a 10 marker answer. Okay. So whenever you want to write your answers, you can send it to my WhatsApp on this particular number, or you can email it to this address. So thank you.